Hello and welcome to the Main Cave. Now in today's video I'm going to run down all that I think is worth mentioning in this, the ROG Falchion 65% keyboard, and whether I use it for gaming or productivity. So in this video I'm not going to waste your time repeating everything off the website or off other reviews. Instead I want to give you information you won't get from the marketing, videos and in the manual. Speaking of which though, if you do want that info, pause now. So if you're new here, we make regular videos on gaming and technology for your smart home, so please do consider subscribing, as we may make a video that may make your life easier and I wouldn't want you to miss out. So do hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. So here, the ROG Falchion 65% keyboard, I paid £165 from a UK website, and for what is relatively high price, this thing has a lot going for it. Right, so let's start off with the sound then. Here's what it sounds like out of the box, no mods done to it whatsoever. Now next up, this is for us UK users. Does it work well on a Mac? And the answer is yes, but you may need to change your muscle memory as your keyboard language for the @ symbol and the sky commas to be in the right place. Or do as I did, just set up your Mac language to be UK, PC and US, and it all just slots in nicely. Now speaking of the Mac, you do get limited support in kind of a good and bad news. If you want to, you can change the RGB keys slider all on a Windows PC using ROG's Armoury Crate, which is something that's not available on the Mac. So although this isn't ideal, it's still good that they do provide Mac support using the switch on the back. Also, most keys had their Mac equivalent written on them, which is a nice touch. If you do want to change some of the onboard settings and you have access to a Windows PC, you can actually change the settings in Armoury Crate on that PC and they are saved onto the keyboard. For example, the slider can be customized to what you want. If you just plug it into a PC, change it, and then connect it back to a Mac, the slider works as intended as you set it up. So does it stick to the desk? Well, it's good enough. There are 4 rubber feet which do okay. Not much pressure needed to make it slip, but I've never noticed it accidentally slipping. Or you could just add it to the cover, which comes with 4 much larger rubber pads on the bottom, meaning that this thing won't move at all. Warning though, if you do like to move your keyboard away from you at any stage, you most likely fold the legs away in the process. So do what I did a combination of the two. I stuck it inside the case and on its legs. It suits me and this thing rarely budges. Small thing now, and is there a notch on the WASD? Do you like that? I know I do. I like to have a physical feel as to where my WASD is, and there's no notch on any of them. The only notches on this keyboard are on the F and the J keys, standard for most productivity keyboards. And how about the keycaps? Well, they're ABS, and in all honesty, they're okay, but I've been using them for a few weeks. I'd love them for PBT, but very doubt that it will ever happen as they aren't a unified design. If you want to swap them out for some others, you will probably need to wait to someone to produce these types. As you can see, 4 stems on the bottom isn't typical. Albeit they do say this is UV coated, I'm hoping these caps can hold out well, and we'll see. So what about the connection then? Is it fast? Well, yes and yes. When switching to Bluetooth, it takes probably around a second or so. But then when switching to the dongle, it takes, well, it's instant. It takes longer for me to move my hand from the switcher to the keyboard for it to be connected using the dongle. It is fantastic. Now, how does it feel gaming and typing on the Bluetooth? Well, it's good enough when working. I tried it when gaming, and for simple single-player games where I didn't need too much control, it performed well enough. I could change Bluetooth profile for my Mac when working to my Windows PC when gaming easily with the flick of a couple of buttons. And then when gaming, the N rollover helps when it does get a bit manic. But for the max polling of 1000 Hz, it's not too much of a hassle just to use the dongle. So for the best performance, if you want to use this competitively, is use the dongle, but Bluetooth is okay for pretty much everything else. So can I snap it? No chance. This thing is built. It feels solid. It doesn't flex or bend. It's a properly well-made piece of kit, and at nearly 600 grams, it means it feels premium and it's perfect for my style. If you want a keyboard that bends and sags, this isn't for you. Now, how bright is the RGB? Well, there are 4 settings and an off, and here it is on the highest setting in a dark room next to my iPhone 14 Pro, which is on the max brightness for comparison. And what about the cool features? 2 things I love about this keyboard. Firstly is the slider. You use this to do things like change volume, skip track, and there are 2 others for brightness and for a custom, which don't work on the Mac, but like I said, customize it on the PC, and you can get that last customization option to work on the Mac, no problem. Another cool feature is the battery indicator. Quick press of FN and the sky comma, and you get the battery indicator. The numbers on the keyboard light up to say how much is left and whether or not it's charging. And while it's charging, the ROG logo at the top flashes green. I just love these neat little touches this keyboard has. Now, speaking of battery, the marketing says 430 hours without RGB, but with RGB, well, I haven't timed it myself, but I'm on day 6 and I haven't needed to charge it yet. Very impressive. And what about game or productivity then? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I use this for gaming and for productivity, and my personal preference is that it does a good enough job on both of them without really excelling in both of them. If you like small keyboards, then you won't have a problem here. I already use the Logitech MX keys on my Mac when working, and this certainly feels better than that, and I was able to hit all the keys just as easily. When gaming, it really did take a while to get used to, but that's simply due to its size and my own personal muscle memory. There's hardly any pre or post travel. It was responsive, tactile, and a lovely bump. Overall, it was a good experience. I just wish they did it in a TKO version. I hope that's given you an insight into some of the features you won't have read about or seen in other reviews, and I hope that it's been helpful for you. If there's any other questions you want, please do comment down below. In the meantime, please like, please subscribe. Till the next video. Bye-bye.